And welcome to this video which covers the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation as part of the sports psychology topic for Stage 1 psychology. This should hopefully be very useful for tests and exams. Let's get started. So let's first look at the definition of motivation. So it refers to the internal processes that activate, guide, and maintain our observable behaviours. So it's the driving force behind the behaviours that lead us to pursue some things and avoid others. So motivation is affected by a combination of biopsychosocial factors, which we know about already from the biopsychosocial model as part of science inquiry skills. So motivation can be affected by biological factors such as biological makeup. It can be affected by social factors such as culture and social experiences. And of course, psychological factors such as emotions and how we feel towards that respective sport and how that affects our motivation. So it's a concept that can be difficult to measure. So let's go through the different types in more detail. So motivation considers the external forces that pull us, such as a reward, and the internal forces that push us, such as enjoyment, to perform a certain behaviour. So there are external and internal forces that motivate us to continue with a particular task or, motivate us to start in the first place. So external come from outside of us. So it's from somebody else or another source. So that might be a reward, whereas internal forces push us. That may be our own sense of achievement and accomplishment and our own sense of enjoyment of the task. So the terms external and internal make up the names of the incentive theory, and the two types are intrinsic and extrinsic. So intrinsic being internal and extrinsic being external. So let's go into these terms in more detail. So intrinsic motivation comes from within the self. People can have a push from within themselves with no sign of an external reward. So this means that people will do the sport or do the activity purely for internal reasons. So often this might be a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, and because they genuinely enjoy the task. So they're not actually expecting an external reward or external factors to keep their motivation going. For example, money or fame or a trophy. They're doing the task purely because they're intrinsically motivated or they're getting internal satisfaction from doing so. So we are more likely to persist with mastering a skill or carrying out an activity when the motivation comes from within us, or in other words, we are intrinsically motivated. So it can affect our thinking patterns and our determination to succeed. So top performing athletes are intrinsically motivated. They are committed to the training and take part in the sport for its own sake. So they don't do it for the money or fame. Now, obviously, that is seen as an added bonus, but they are likely to pursue excellence and push themselves to improve because they're intrinsically motivated or more dominant in intrinsic motivation. So extrinsic motivation comes from outside of us, so external, hence extrinsic. So it's behaviour that's motivated by rewards and punishments given by other people or an external source, hence the term. So it may be based on a need to have as many friends or improve your social status, achieve at work, or receive an encouraging word. So extrinsic motivators also include more tangible rewards such as a pay rise, a trophy, a reward, or a promotion, or money, etc. So it's not to imply that extrinsic motivation is worse or bad. It's realistic to assume that a lot of athletes and a lot of performers are both intrinsically and extrinsically motivated. So an extrinsically motivated student, for example, will study hard because they enjoy receiving top marks, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They study to pass their exam rather than develop a full understanding of the topic. So they're not inclined to investigate a topic further unless they will receive further external rewards such as extra marks or extra credit. So it's most likely that you are both intrinsically and extrinsically motivated as a student, which is fine. You may receive some pleasure in learning about your favourite topic and also enjoy the praise from your family or your teachers or your friends when you receive a good mark. So that's examples of both. So many studies have shown that intrinsically motivated students tend to achieve higher motivation to study beyond the required curriculum or classroom content. So they will be more willing to do extension activities or go further beyond the curriculum. Therefore, they're more likely to gain higher results. So similar studies have also shown that extrinsically motivated students can still achieve excellent results, absolutely, but they do report lower levels of motivation and therefore satisfaction in their education and lives in general. So that's often why your teachers will say that you should choose subjects that you actually enjoy, or try and find some positive or some enjoyment from the subjects that you're doing. So while rewards, an extrinsic motivator, can improve enjoyment and self-esteem, they can also decrease the level of satisfaction, especially if the individual feels as if he or she or they is losing control of the situation. So here are some ways to increase intrinsic motivation. Using positive reinforcement such as praise and encouragement is only going to be helpful. The rewards must be valued by the person. So if we are going to extrinsically reward or use extrinsic motivation, then the rewards actually need to be valuable and important to the person receiving them. So this will depend on the individual. They may really appreciate words of encouragement or a sticker or, a pat on the back or a job well done, words of affirmation, things like that. But the reward must be valued. Focus on what was done well. Okay, so reward the performance and the development, not just winning. So actually praise the process, not just the end result. Avoid punishment. Punishment does not lead to long-term behavior change and is only effective for short-term behavior change. So for long-term development and long-term motivation to continue, rewards and reinforcement need to be the dominant strategy. Setting realistic goals is very, very important. Include the person in the decision-making and goal-setting process. This will also improve team cohesion and coach cohesion. Training sessions should be well organised, varied and fun and challenging, and they should focus on the mastery of skills and learning. So they shouldn't be too repetitive or too boring, which goes back to the practice effect I talked about previously. Working on team spirit will also provide time and social events where team members can get together and become friends, because that is very, very important for overall levels of satisfaction. So I hope you found this video useful. As always, if you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy revising.